And Assange.
You're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Free Assange Vigil. My name is Steve Poikinen. This is week 75. I am joined tonight by my co-hosts Andrew Smith and Misty Winston. And holy crap, do we have like basically like a bar right now. It's wild. We have Niko House, Jason Bermas, and the Convo Couch, Pasta Jardula and Fiorella Isabel joining us tonight. And real quick, before we get to all of that, let's go through the numbers as they stand on December 8th.
But go ahead.
We're at 3,650 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for Julian Assange, 605 days since the WikiLeaks founder was trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy after being sold to the United Kingdom for a $4.2 billion IMF loan. 27 days remain until District Judge Vanessa Baratzer, the concierge of the U.S. State Department, reads her decision in Julian's extraordinary rendition hearing. Action for Assange is fundraising for that. We do have a GoFundMe. If you can, please donate to that. If you can't, please share the link because it definitely helps. We'll make sure it gets passed around in the chat tonight. 1,274 days of federal incarceration for Reality Winner. She just had an appeal denied this week, and she is still the longest serving whistleblower to be prosecuted under the Espionage Act. On the plus side, 261 days of freedom for Chelsea Manning, who streams on Twitch Thursday through Sunday, and Jeremy Hammond has been out of prison and in a halfway house now for exactly 3 weeks, 21 days. Really hope that he gets the heck out of there soon, because if you've ever had to experience a halfway house, rarely are they a place where good things happen. So glad that Jeremy Hammond is no longer locked up. Definitely hope to see him all the way free very shortly. With that, I'll just let chaos fucking happen.
That's exactly what's going to happen too. This explosion of awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right now we're all quiet. Like 5 minutes ago, everybody.
I know. That's okay. So that's why we were late, because nobody would shut the fuck up. So the fact that we're quiet now is
because we're not just trying to have everybody just not shut the fuck up again.
Yeah. So yeah, now run your mouth, Pasta. Now do it. Do it now.
Wow. Seriously?
So here's
can I just say something real quick?
There we go.
Fiorella are recovering for the most part from COVID. They're back. They're healthy. I missed them so much, y'all. For real. It's been like I didn't get to talk to them for like 2 weeks. I didn't get to hear nobody arguing for 2 weeks. You know, that's a lot for me. It was real quiet. I was kind of confused, honestly. I was like, yo, I hope they're not dead. But you know, they just got COVID, so they all right. But I'm telling you all this to remind you, don't take that motherfucking vaccine. That's why I'm telling y'all this. Don't you're gonna get the monkeys. Y'all gonna be like, ooh. I'm telling you. But in all seriousness, we missed you guys, and it's dope that we just happened to have a collision course tonight, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Niko. I don't plan on taking a vaccine from Big Pharma. I don't know why I'm told to hate Big Pharma up until the point it comes to put a vaccine that's being rushed. Like, definitely not going to do it. So
it makes perfect sense.
Not only that, but it's the first mRNA vaccine that is ever been not just approved but fast tracked.
Yeah,
and
it's not
the only people's word.
Trials.
The only people's word we have to take for it is Pfizer, or Moderna, who have just a stellar history of speaking nothing but the truth. Don't pay any attention to the lawsuits. And in this case, you won't even be able to have a lawsuit because these guys have immunity.
Did they get it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, listen, man. Let's just get something really straight. They don't get anything.
Boom! Set off Jason Berman. Go.
All right.
I'm about to say, go ahead, Jason.
Did they get immunity? Hold the fuck on. They got no. Sorry.
The idea of immunity from any type of criminal prosecution and the vast majority of any type of civil lawsuit is 100% before it even gets started. That's the deal when they put these things out. What's really disturbing about this is that pretty much every step of the way, while they've done these trials to put them out, they've also done mass manufacturing and basically been paid to produce vaccines they know they will never use. So all this stuff right now, once it gets approved, they're literally saying execute and put it out there. Now you have the petition based on all the scientific papers that's now gone to the EU. And I want to repeat this for everybody that's not paying attention. Okay. Number one, by the numbers of the authoritative sources, the WHO admits you have a 99.4% chance to fully recover from this, no matter who you are. That's all the way up and down. We all know that certain age groups, especially 50 and under, are well beyond that recovery rate. However, they're telling you, the CDC, a 95% quote unquote efficacy rate. So right there, the efficacy rate of whatever this is. And by the way, it's not something they're advertising will lower infection rates or lower mortality rates. We'll get to that in a second.
Or will prevent spreading.
Well, that's it. No, they will not lower infection or lower mortality rates. They're not advertising it that. I want to make that extremely clear to people. Okay, that's very important. What they are saying it will do is it will make your DNA mutate certain antibodies that will then mimic this SARS-CoV-2 in 2 doses. So the warnings in some of this are that the type of antibodies that could be long-term produced by this process could also attack a woman's placenta. And if that were the case, it would take long-term studies after mass vaccinations to see what that rate actually was or if it occurred. Let me translate that to people. You take this shot, and 5 years down the fucking line, you can't have a baby. Sorry. Fucking sorry.
You gotta wait 5 years to figure out if you got a baby. They ain't gotta wait 5 years to figure out if their fucking shot works. That's some bullshit right there.
And again, when we talk about it, I want to say it again. They're not telling you it's ever going to lower the mortality rate. How's it going to lower? You have a 0.6% according to them at their best numbers 2 fucking months ago that needs to be lowered. Not a 1%, not even a full percentage point. What planet am I living on? And then their efficacy rate, which by the way was 50% in July when Bill Gates was spouting off. Somehow they went from 50 to 95 in only 2 months. I'm supposed to believe that as well. I mean,
Bill Gates has ever lied.
Democrats proposing that you have to get your stimulus check, that you'd have to take a vaccine to get it. Yeah, I'm going to go run out and vote for the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing like a little medical coercion, right? It's so
know,
good.
right?
Don't forget WHO e-certification, already working with Estonia to do it. So you won't be, they won't get the government to do what they do is they'll tell the corporations, anyone, you want to fly, you want to take these cruise liners. Oh, well, I guess you better have that online e-certification that you took the vaccine. Bruh, this is fucking insane.
Find me in the woods.
So,
yeah, bro, I'm telling you. Hey, y'all trying to go in on a bootleg underground luxury submarine company?
So Glory named me interim president. Okay, and I couldn't think of I couldn't decide on a vice president. So I have a co-vice president. It's our co-host who isn't here tonight, Kendra Christian, and John McAfee's pirate yacht. Also my co-vice president. Okay.
From the Pirate Bay?
Bro.
He's in jail.
This is executive privilege. Okay. So pirate yacht.
Didn't mean to overstep. My apologies.
Pirate yacht. Well, and Niko, I appointed the director of the CIA with the request that he abolished the CIA and form the Department of Minding Your Own Damn Business.
And I did.
Yeah.
We're still minding our own damn business over here.
Looking to round out the cabinet, but Glory is my Secretary of State, Gloria Jones. Yeah.
So to kind of circle back to the whole forced vaccination, no ability to actually file any petitions for grievances or anything. What we're witnessing with the coronavirus and the prosecution of Julian is literally the entire death of the First Amendment. The prohibition of the free exercise of religion, speech, press, the right for people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for grievance. All of that is gone under the guise of coronavirus, to the point that Julian was placed inside of a freshly built glass box inside of Belmarsh, or inside of the Old Bailey. So it's just horrifying to have seen his trial play out in real time with so little press coverage surrounding it. So I want to give a special thank you to Niko while we have him on here for allowing us to broadcast onto MCSC as we were doing that live trial coverage, because that was some.
First of all, Andrew, it's my absolute honor. It's my honor. I appreciate what y'all do. It's to do this consistently for as long as you all have. That demonstrates the type of consistency in just a set of values that we all need more of. Everybody. I don't give a damn how long. I mean, this is the most important issue. The reason everybody's so damn stupid right now is because of a lack of truly free press. And obviously, Assange is the epitome of how our freedoms are being suppressed, our press freedoms are being suppressed. And so it's my absolute honor to even have any type of platform of value to you guys to help you do what you do. And I appreciate what you all are doing.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I feel the
really
same
nice.
way. What Niko said.
Just to jump in here on the vaccinations and the First Amendment, it goes beyond just our First Amendment at this point. We're talking about our body. We're talking about medical martial law, and we're talking about those cards. I want people to see this card. This is the proposed card out in the UK that you're looking at, and they want to remind you it's all about the love. There's a heart on it. There's a crown. It lets you know that rule by bloodline's a real thing, and fuck you if you don't want to take it. We love you. They love
What's
you.
a little forced medical treatment among the loved ones?
Yeah.
It's all about the love, guys. And, if they're telling you any different, obviously, I would say you're a Nazi. That's probably it. You're a Nazi. If you think this is
the good old Chris Pratt and Matthew McConaughey treatment, I take it. All right.
I don't think I'm a Nazi. I've been called a Nazi collaborator. So I don't know if that's the same thing. I'm just a
Am I allowed
collaborator.
to be a Nazi?
So you're
I
like
don't know.
Totally. You know what, dude? Actually, I'm getting ready to go to Denver in like a day and a half or something. Thursday morning at the ass crack of dawn. When I lived in Denver, the only skinhead that I knew was a black dude.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
That's wild. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean like straight up like.
But did he know if he was actually allowed to be there, or was he just doing it? He ain't asked nobody to rule.
Oh no! Like anytime there was a show around, like he was with all of the other skinheads, and they rolled together. They fucking got in fights with other people who were wearing uniforms that said we would like to fight with you, and you would like to fight with us. And that's tell me that's not what that was. Like everybody put on their outfits to go to the fucking punk club to see who they were going to get in a fight with. Like it was like a fucking thing. That's
weird, but it's not the most surprising thing I've heard this year. Actually, the most surprising thing I heard that was completely unsurprising was actually yesterday, by the way, speaking of free press. So I'm pretty sure Jason's going to probably tell the whole story about this, but I just learned that Gavin McInnes was the co-founder of Vice and that his dad was the defense contractor.
Oh yeah, bro. That's not news. Listen, man, you want to hear something even worse.
Please
don't say it.
You got to get caught up on your Bermas.
We're doing it live.
You think I get caught up on your Bermas? I know.
Do it
live. You remember when the fappening happened, and you remember? Yeah, how am I going to intertwine that? So the magazine was like this underground thing in New York City where they were like big in the art scene. And Terry, I can't remember what his name is, but the really skinny looking weird guy that got fucking accused of all sorts of sexual harassment by people. He's a
Jason. That's literally every guy who's been accused.
Hold on. Terry.
The skinny looking weird white guy that's been accused of sexual harassment. You know that one.
I'm so glad that there's a little bit of pause before Jason takes the real sharp left turn.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because I know where this is going.
Oh, for real? Oh, shit. Why the hell is Steve red? If Steve is red, I'm ready for this shit. I ain't never seen Steve talk about a lot of shit.
So this gentleman right here is Terry Richardson, and he had this like crazy like sex book, right? So this guy had pictures of if you've seen the dirty ones of Miley Cyrus, all of them during that time. So anyway, Gavin McInnes let him shoot him. And aside from Gavin McInnes's obsession with sticking things up his butt on camera and the weird, back in the day, he did this crazy shoot for Terry Richardson where he's buck naked, and the man has, I mean, a physically string bean penis. It looks like a string bean at the grocery store. If it were
little dick energy. It always comes back to Lil Dick energy, bro. It's crazy.
Hold on.
I don't know what the hell we're talking about right now. We just talked about
what, Jason?
penis, and I'm just like, I heard white guys. Whatever. Yeah.
Listen. I'm not saying he has a small dick. I'm saying it literally looks like.
No, you say he's got a string bean penis.
No, I'm saying
that's worse than a little dick.
His physical penis looks like a string bean that will haunt me for life.
So
see that picture.
When we're hanging out in DC in February, before we went to the Alex Jones event, Bermas tells this story like 24 hours before. And who should be at the Emergency Free Speech Summit for the good of Roger Stone that we flipped into a Free Julian Assange rally, but
true Steve fashion,
Captain Stringbean.
Captain Stringbean.
Right? So everybody at this motherfucking event is looking at him and thinking about a string bean penis, is what you're telling me right now.
I mean, the people who were made aware of it, like, kind of had to be, you know? And I'm speaking from experience here. Like,
how do we miss this?
I'll go find the picture of me. I'll go find the picture of me from that night and show you the look on my face, because that was the look on my face I had the entire flipping night.
I'm driving so lighthearted in here. Such heavy opener. Like,
dude, we have to be sometimes. Listen, we talk about like the torture of journalists here. Like sometimes we gotta laugh. We
the entire show would just be all dreaming.
What
else can you do? What else can you do when string bean penis guys are being uplifted, and it literally took him being quote unquote associated with a white supremacist organization in order for him to even be considered to be taken down. Meanwhile, Julian Assange, who does real journalism, that where he got it, like we like to say, he got it from the mud. He started from the ground up. He didn't get a bunch of funding from the Canadian government for no apparent reason to do it. And yet, little string bean, little dick guy is out roaming around free, and Julian Assange is literally being tortured right now. That's all you can really do is laugh and cry. There's no in between.
We live in a society that would rather punish people who expose war crimes rather than the people that commit them. So yeah, I'm gonna laugh at some string bean penis jokes. I'm sorry.
Little dick energy society, uplift little dick. They hate big dick energy.
Do you guys remember what witness statement it was where there was the Guantanamo?
Oh, they talked about the little penis guy.
Yeah,
I do. I do.
So it
I remember it was though.
It was the Clive Stafford Smith one.
Was it? Oh, that's so long. Like we would never go.
Yeah, bro. So I found that picture, and I'm trying to decide whether I should show everybody or just you guys.
Do not put that on YouTube ever.
WikiLeaks, we found out that there was a narc inside of Guantanamo Bay that was literally just making up charges because he felt like he had a small penis and women wouldn't want to marry him. So he was
ran it on, what was it, Andrew? 93 people in like 86 minutes or something like that? Yeah. Like that's the number of names he gave up in 86 minutes.
And it was because he was trying to get the U.S. to give him penis enlargement surgery so he could get a wife.
Yeah.
What? Hey,
and
you know what?
In 93 cases of U.S. torture.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, gentlemen. That is the most believable fucking story that we have told tonight. That is the most believable fucking story that if I got a little dick and you're like, bro, snitch, I got you. We'll take, bitch, well, what you need me to do? I can old McDonald this bitch if you need me to. I can make it rhyme. I can do an alphabetical order.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is it kind of like the old-fashioned string bean?
Oh, Jesus.
Is it big string bean or more like the Air Provera skinny French string bean, like with the end that kind of curls at the.
I'm trying. Yes, exactly. It's a more string bean. That, like, I'm not saying he has a small dick because who knows where it goes, but I'm saying that it's like off the shelf, like at the end even. It has it has that weird like tip kind of.
Yeah. You gotta either cut him off. I gotcha.
Listen,
I'm never gonna be able to look at him again and not see like just a string bean penis.
I know I have it on a hard drive somewhere. in that whole stack of fucking downloads.
He no longer has a face. It's just like string bean penis from now on.
I'm traumatized, right? I'm traumatized. Look, I'll show the flipping picture because I really did. The look I had on my face the entire time that we were there.
Yeah, I showed the facts, right? I did bring up the picture. Like, I didn't just like I found it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just for the record, everybody, I said this shit was gonna happen before the show started. I said this exact thing.
That was the look on my face the whole flipping night. That was just my face for like 3 hours.
That should be a fucking meme, bro.
3 hours.
Yeah,
I don't
send
know
me that
what
picture,
parents
Steve.
link
Send
with
me
my
that
mom to
picture.
watch this show. I'm sorry, guys.
I told y'all shit was gonna happen.
Mom, you're not watching this one.
It wasn't 5 fucking minutes on the stream before we got the stream being penises, y'all. God.
No, this is gonna
Jason, that's what happens when you get a stream with Jason and Steve, man. Somebody got to have a fucking stream being penis.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
always
Yes.
gonna
Let's blame Jason and Steve. Okay. Yes. Let's do that.
Oh,
love you guys, man. I love you guys. I really hope. I really, honestly hope that one day, like Assange, just when he gets out, just out of the just being grateful for not only for these vigils but the old ones as well. He just gets back and just gets to watch all of them and laugh and enjoy this content that y'all produce, because obviously through the ups and downs, like there's always good stuff, positive stuff, but I really, really hope that he gets to see like these moments. I
hope not.
I'm sure he would enjoy it.
I'm sorry, Julian. I'm sorry. I'm
he
sorry.
would-
Welcome to the
absolutely
Free
positive
Assange
he would.
blooper reel.
what's the
We're
thing here?
That'd be dope, actually.
Obviously,
I got the slide.
Costa, I want to talk to you about the election quite a bit, but is there a possibility, or are we just talking hopium, that if Trump doesn't see a path to somehow being in office the next 4 years, he puts it all on the table and he does what everybody wants him to do and drops all charges against Assange, pardons him from future charges, does the same with Edward Snowden, becomes the hero so many have portrayed him as? Is there any possibility in anybody, and I'm not even going to interject here, I just want to ask you guys, do you think there's any possibility of that, or is that fairy tale dreams and gumdrop hopes in the sky?
I think it's fairy tale dreams, gumdrops, hopes in the sky. I really do. I mean, by now, I think if there was an opportunity to do it, he would have probably done it by now. And the fact that he hasn't, but maybe he's still holding out to see if he does get some love from the courts, and has a chance that, he can overturn this thing. And first of all, I really think that's a long shot right now in itself, just the way everything's looking. I mean, I'm going to still hold out hope. I mean, I think maybe if he does get pushed and egged on a little bit more, he's got about 26 days left before he's gone.
No,
days.
He's got a good 40 days. Close.
30 days? Is it 30 days?
COVID fucked your math skills up, like, bro. What?
December.
It's fucking December, bro. It's the beginning of December.
January 21st. So he's got a little over 40 days to do it. But the thing is, I mean, I'm not holding my breath, just like I wasn't holding my. I mean, we now have a broken main story, like the broken water main, confirmed never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Got him on tape kicking everybody out. All of a sudden, suitcases come out of nowhere, and I'm just supposed to believe he doesn't have another girlfriend. I know he's cheating on me.
We had statisticians in the Texas lawsuit.
Treated like abused fucking wives. This is crazy.
1 in quadrillion chance that by the time we went off the air, which was around midnight Pacific time, election night, 1 in a quadrillion. I can't even say. I didn't even know numbers went that high. What the hell is a quadrillion? 1 in quadrillion chance that Biden had a chance to come back and grab and take the win over here the way he did. I mean, it's just ridiculous across the board. And I was just on the phone with a statistician. We had a Zoom call before showing me more evidence, the same type of Shiva patterns, whatnot, about the way they were either flipping votes or taking away votes at the tabulation center, putting multiple votes in for Biden. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. I think in 2008, Obama won like 817 districts, counties. In this particular case, Joe Biden has 10 million more votes and won only 500 in change in counties. I mean, it's just the numbers don't add up. It's ridiculous across the fucking board, but the mainstream media, they had everything in play.
I honestly don't think it matters what the numbers are. I don't think Trump is brave enough to really take this on. No, he's come on. He's not, that would mean really taking on the deep state, like really challenging them.
I don't know if brave is the right word. I don't think they'll be allowed to. I was talking to Jay about this last night. Because if they do, they expose that the U.S. has always had sham elections, or at least in the voting machine era, which is, damn near like all of people's lives who have voted for just old enough to vote now. That's their entire freaking life.
It would destroy the empire. It would destroy all confidence in the empire.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Trump has the courage to, because he could, really go at it. Like, he really could. He's got the base for it. He could really go at it.
What else can he do?
I
mean, when you say he doesn't have the courage for it, what else can he do is what I'm trying to.
No, I don't know that there's, he just, really rallying people and really talking. The stuff that he's even talking about isn't even like he, focuses on so many, like you guys talked about it early on. They kept saying voter fraud. And it's like, you guys, it's not the problem. You need to stop saying that. That you can tell that like they don't really want to attack the real.
I agree with you. Some of them are doing the legal stuff. Like, it's like they don't want to follow their good graces with Trump, so they're putting on this show, but they know what time it is with the establishment. Because even Paxton, I don't know a lot about him, but I do know about that legal case against him, and I'm sure that's going to play a part in how hard he pursues this, right? And like, it'll decide whether he can. I guess you can't appeal even to the Supreme Court directly, but it's like when you have to consider just how entrenched this fucking country is in corruption. And I was talking about on my show earlier, the problem that I have with this entire election narrative, let's just be honest. Like, it's really improbable that Biden won. Okay, cool. But can I say for 100% certainty that it was actually rigging instead of human error? Obviously, technically, no. But what I can say it is a fucking travesty that there is no transparency. So we have to go through all of this shit just to figure it out. It should be a fucking 2-click process. That's you know what I'm saying? There should be a fucking file cabinet of all the fucking votes, and all of them should be able to be recounted right then and there. That easy.
Niko, I've already said it. If they wanted election integrity, it could have been done 15 years ago. So let's talk about it. First of all, Steve, you're absolutely right in the fact that they don't want to expose the systems that they've already used in elections. For instance, if you watch the second day of those hearings where they were going state to state and talking about the irregularities, when they brought that intel officer in and he was talking about Hugo Chavez and his family buying that, he was also alluding to the fact that he himself and others in the intelligence community had rigged elections through these. I mean,
yeah.
Like, he's snitching. He's like, but somehow it got like the mainstream media took it and said, these are the machines that Hugo Chavez used to rig the election. I'm like, no, motherfucker, that
narrative, and also the narrative that illegal immigrants were able to sway the vote one way. That illegal immigrants, for the most part, don't vote. You know what I'm saying? They're too scared. They're in the shadows. We know this. We're out here.
Oh, you want to put yourself on the fucking radar?
I mean, it's so dumb. But I mean, aside from that, they have mentioned a lot of things that we've been talking for how long? Sidney Powell, after she went in going after the ghost of Hugo Chavez passed, she still did mention the fact that all the systems have these mechanisms, these weighted mechanisms, these features, as well as they've been doing this shit in the past. In fact, Niko, the machine that me, you, and Tim Canova smashed, ES&S, has had way more fucking dirt on them than Dominion has ever had. I think in one town they kind of
give it time,
and they got caught on it. Like, ES&S has been awful, but what are they? They're connected to more Republican money, so therefore they kind of stay away from that, and they've been concentrating on what? Dominion. That's been
true.
Doing.
That's the fact that nobody's talking about the Biden Foundation connection to ES&S. Like, none of the Republicans are bringing that shit up, but they want to keep focusing on Dominion. But that's because that is more. It's more recent, and obviously the Democrats have benefited more from it. But like, also, it looks like they benefited just as much from ES&S, and yet Republicans, because their donors are telling them not to, are not pursuing it. And if that's the case, then we know that necessarily they're not going to seriously pursue Dominion. Because, like, I'm a firm believer that although a lot of votes were flipped in favor of Biden, that doesn't mean votes weren't flipped in favor of Trump. Like, it just means that just like in the general election, when the Joe Stein's lawsuit exposed that both the Republicans tried to cheat for Trump and that the Democrats tried to cheat for Hillary, it's the whole fucking system. That's what it exposed. If people, if they ever took the time to fucking ask us, well, what about these votes that look like they were flipped to Trump? They probably were. But they never asked.
Our elections are fucked. Like, I don't know why that's a controversial statement. Like, elections are fucked.
It's not.
Our elections are fucked.
Yeah.
Period. I don't know why that's controversial. People need to stop with that. Like, I mean, people are seriously trying to claim that this time the election was fine. Are you on drugs? Like, what?
It's because it's Trump. That's
In
why.
2016,
Remember,
we had,
the mail-in thing was really the mail-in thing was just a whole nother level
Yeah.
of fraud when you could just shotgun out all these ballots. And they're trying to go back now and contest the fact that it was unconstitutional that they did it in these states. And they were saying, well, why didn't you come beforehand and protest this? But yet we had COVID going on.
Well,
Really
and some people did actually. Some people actually did. Some states did, and they lost. But like, just so for those of you who don't know, it may be new to me, I was a co-founder of the DNC fraud lawsuit. And so when we're talking about just the corruption of the criminal justice system and combined with election fraud, like, I've been had the shit literally beat out of me dealing with both. And like, we had just fucking coincidentally, the DNC fraud lawsuit goes to the Supreme Court, and who out of all of the fucking bench judges get the shit? Clarence goddamn Thomas, as Biden becomes the fucking Democratic primary nominee. How do you think that went, ladies and gentlemen? Does that mean that all of the allegations of election fraud were unfounded? No, if you saw our case, you would know that's absolutely not the case. In fact, Bruce Spiva didn't even deny election fraud. In fact, he said they were allowed to do it and that the judge did not have the legal authority to adjudicate election fraud, not that they couldn't commit election fraud. So it has nothing to do with founded and unfounded. And what you've been seeing is this gaslighting, right? Every time there's a new case announced, or even people thinking about a new case, there's no proof. Before all the lawsuit started, right? There's no evidence of election fraud. Bitch, how the fuck did we have the case already? Did I miss that shit? Well, no, because there's no evidence. So you're telling me there's no evidence, so we shouldn't have a case. Yeah. Well, how do you know if there's no evidence if you haven't seen the case? Because there's no evidence. Well, how do you know there's no evidence? Or how do you know because we haven't had the case? Because there's no evidence. If you're an attorney, just for all my aspiring lawyers out there, if you are an attorney and you have evidence of anything, right, wrong, doing whatever for your side, if your ass gives the evidence for whatever it is that you're trying to argue for before you get into the fucking court, you're an idiot and you need to be disbarred. That's not how it works. That you present your evidence when you get into court. And that's why a conservative actually said, it's actually my friend Carlin, Dr. Carlin Borisico. She's like, Trump, yo, just shut the fuck up. If you stop talking, because it makes it look like you don't have shit, because anyone knows that if you actually have something, you shut the fuck up until you get into court. Otherwise, you just look like you're blowing smoke. And that's honestly what it's starting to look like. It looks like Trump is honestly beginning to lose his bearings and is beginning to believe, like, man, look, I can't, and it's scary for me to actually see this happening in real time, given the megalomaniac and the egotist that Trump is, who's always gotten his way his entire life. It's like you're seeing him like concede defeat through the way he's been acting. And I'm thinking, as an onlooker, as an election integrity activist, as a person who is terrified of what we're seeing with big tech, as a person who is terrified of the existential fucking threat the Democratic Party has become, if the president of the United States does not have the resources and the network to challenge election fraud when it is so fucking blatant, we are done.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, Ray McGovern had actually talked about the fact that all of this spying and all of the FOIA requests and essentially the entire Spygate, no one ever got prosecuted for it. That the most open, apparent, illegal rigging and spying on a campaign took place in 2016 against President Trump. Love him or hate him.
Yeah.
And he did nothing. And that's something that has obviously happened again. And my theory personally is that he just simply tried to out the intelligence community. That he tried to put people in there that he thought would be on his team, that they could run the same level of influence operation, and it just didn't work.
It didn't.
That he wasn't able to essentially steal the intelligence community for his own benefit.
Listen, man, I think that this is just the last kick in the nuts. You can say he's brazen, you can say he's an egomaniac. He's folded many times. He folded on JFK. He folded on Syria. He folded on Duma. He folded on Assange. I mean, where this is action for Assange, he folded. He ran on loving the WikiLeaks. Can't get enough of the WikiLeaks. You see the WikiLeaks. Holy shit, the WikiLeaks. And then, literally, again, the awesome press we have asked him one time, what do you know about Julian Assange? I don't know much. And they left him alone, because that's how honest everything is. So he knows from the inside. And then, he kept thinking, Durham and Barr. It was Batman and Robin, and they're going in. They're going to beat the deep state. And I kept saying, no, they're fucking not. Yeah. And guess what? They're fucking not. No,
that's actually been part of my approach when I've been going at Trump, when I've been emailing, calling, tweeting at him, is to kind of say, dude, you were obviously used by the Democrats to do their dirty work and go after Assange. Like, look at you, you're a puppet, like you're a fool, like you totally got played, buddy. And I'm hoping that will appeal to his sense of, petty and ego and rage and him want to get revenge. And, I'm just whatever I can throw at him to manipulate or not that he even sees my shit, but if he sees anything anybody tweets out, he's on Twitter all the time, so who knows.
That's what I tell my friends who have voted for Trump. I'm like, the best thing you can do for him if you actually support him, drag his ass for not keeping his promises. I'm like, I understand why you voted for him. Like, I really do get it, like, especially given what the fuck we just saw, right? But at the same time, like, the worst thing that happened to Bernie Sanders was that his supporters stopped holding him accountable. Absolutely fucking refused to hold him accountable to the degree that they started dragging their own. You don't see the Trump supporters do that all that much. They don't drag each other like that, honestly, which is kind of surprising because you would think that they would eat their own. But the left, when we try to hold him, because we're like, it isn't really about Bernie. It's like, bro, if somebody doesn't say something and there's no incentive for him to do it, he's a fucking politician. He's not going to do it. He's not going to put himself in a position where he could look like he's wrong on something. That's just not what the ego allows. And when you're talking about the mandate that Trump had, it was wasted, essentially. It was wasted. And I'm like, y'all want to look like y'all backed the fucking weakling? Because the moment that Bernie started fucking up, I'm like, well,
to pass the
to the left.
Yeah, but all right, so let's talk about it. There are some wins with Trump. For instance, it was amazing to me. We talk about all this. How did this happen? How did that happen? How did the guy go after big pharma like the left always said they would, and Bernie Sanders always said they would? Pass an executive order, put it into place, and the left just act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Because I covered it, and people were like, "Oh, you're celebrating something Trump did?"
Dude, anything good that he does either doesn't exist, or he did it for the wrong reasons, or like, I don't give a fuck why he does something. I don't care. Like, if he wants to bring troops home from Afghanistan, I don't care why he does it. I just care that he does it. If he wants to pardon Julian Assange, I don't care why. I just care that he does it. These people are so annoying. Like, it doesn't matter the motive. It just matters that you get what you wanted. You want to win or you want to be right.
When he fired all those people out of the Pentagon, and he's like, they won't leave fucking Afghanistan fast enough, and they won't leave Syria fast enough, motherfucker. I had to keep rereading the article. I'm like, hold up. So because they're not being because they're not being anti-imperialist enough. Hold up, because this is the first president in my lifetime, and some of y'all a little bit older, Pasta and Steve, so maybe y'all can let me know. There's been no president in the history of this country that's fired people from the Pentagon because they refused to pull troops out of one of the forever wars, correct?
Well, we didn't have the quote unquote forever wars, but you could argue that maybe Carter was displaced via Iran-Contra for trying not to get involved in what was going on in Afghanistan and what they'd already done with.
Did I hurt Steve's feelings for calling him old?
No, his camera. He just got
It's not gonna happen. I would say we've never been entrenched in a situation where they pretty much told us we were going to be at war forever against terror, and we were going to be in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. So I don't know, man. You know, you could talk about Eisenhower maybe being inside of World War II and warning on his way out about the military-industrial complex.
But firing somebody like this, those are different type of wars back then, like full scale. Like it was different back then. So like between Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Trump, and maybe HW, like none of them like went on a fucking firing spree and then hired some and then brought in someone new with what 2 months left who was like, what are you here to do? Get us out of Afghanistan and Syria. That's it.
Yeah. And a guy who had a record for going on the record for saying we need to get out of these wars. There's also, Jason, the First Step Act. I talk about the First Step Act all the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what it did, you know, and comparing that to the 1994 crime bill and how just fucking disgusting that bill was. I mean, the 1994 crime bill literally took away grants away from prisoners that were getting welding degrees, college degrees, so that when they got out, they at least have a fighting chance to have a life. And literally those programs folded overnight when Joe Biden and the Clintons put that into action. And yet Jared Kushner went out there, he went to the Democrats, he went to the Republicans and the behest of Donald Trump, and they signed the First Step Act, and nobody wants to talk about that. So when he's on that stage going, I'm the least racist person on the stage, I can't even argue with him there because he is telling the truth when you just look at the two crime bills.
Or immigration, which was, I read the CNN article, it was the weirdest article. Well, no, it wasn't. Let me be honest. It wasn't. It was one of the weirdest articles I read where they were talking about the fact that like Obama, like not like listen, y'all. Obama didn't just deport more undocumented immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, he blew Trump out the water. It's not even fucking close. And they were talking it and pitching it as, yep, Trump failed on the campaign promise. Yep, he didn't even come close to what Obama deported. Huh? So I thought that this is, y'all, DACA. And what people don't know is the year that Obama deported the most immigrants is when he created DACA, because he was like, hey, over here. Hey. By the way, good news, DACA did. It's back in action, so people can reapply. So that's super weird, because I was told that Trump packed all the courts and nothing at all positive could come out. Like Standing Rock has been, unfortunately, far too late, reconciled in a way that benefits the people in at Standing Rock, the indigenous at Standing Rock in North Dakota, because they fucking shut down the pipeline. Last time that was under the Trump administration, which is weird. And then all these judges, federal judges that Trump just fucking put in, that the Democrats fast tracked, all of a sudden not swinging these elections his way.
Yeah, I mean, where are they now?
Supreme Court throwing out fucking cases. Like,
where are they?
We were told that Trump was committing a coup so that he could be a dictator for the next 100 years. Motherfucker won't even pass DACA for him, or they won't even kill DACA for him. And yet, I'm supposed to believe that, once again, the Trump administration's incompetent imperialism is worse than this. And basically, honestly, incompetent fascism. They tried it in a lot of ways. It just weren't really all that good and effective at it in a lot of ways. But what we saw from these technocrats and these Democrats, it's these, like, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older now, I'm 32 now, and I'm paying attention more, but it's terrifying. It's uniquely terrifying, because this isn't World War II, World War I, Vietnam, where there wasn't all this access to information. This is an era where you have all of the information you could possibly want at the touch of your hand. All you have to do is maybe just scroll past one fucking articles, like stop reading one article and then running to Twitter to give your fucking opinion. Like, actually think critically and, well, let me get into dissenting opinion on this. That's all it would take, and it would change the world. But with all of the access in the world to information, this is where we're at. And people, when Biden started selecting his cabinet, they're like, oh wow, I didn't expect this.
Oh, we're mitigating damage is what they told us. Mitigating damage, and with every single thing,
Oh, their feet to the fire.
well, yeah, let's move them left. And when
Move 'em
Anthony's
left.
thinking,
That's going really well so far.
Near
by the way.
Camden.
Really well.
Sullivan.
Really well.
good job there.
Right,
Al.
Raytheon board members.
Hayes.
Way to go, guys. You did it. Oh, he's so left. He's so left, you guys. He just picked like literally the human embodiment of Raytheon.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. But Team
Let's have a
Grifter, though.
Raytheon board member.
Team Grifter. We should. I don't know if like we should get Team Grifter and then like little crystal balls shirts like Team Grifter because like basically they only call us grifters because we're always fucking right and they hate the shit. Like that's really what it comes down to, guys. If I'm being real, like for the most part, all of us in our unique ways, going through all of our different, because there's so much fucking information out there, and we all have our own way of researching it and breaking it down, and then all of us coming to the same conclusion. Like they despise people who are right on the left. Hold up, that came out wrong. Or right? Did it come out right or wrong? I don't know. They despise people who are correct, who call themselves leftists, who call themselves independent. Oh, don't, God forbid, call yourself an independent. That's like the worst fucking thing you can be. It's bro, Chris Pratt is so nice and independent minded. They said this motherfucker is a white supremacist, bro. I was so confused. I'm like, whoa, what did I miss? Did I miss something?
Chris Pratt is like a jar of mayonnaise, like a sculpted jar of mayonnaise, but a jar of mayonnaise.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no way that there can be a dominant a narrative trending on Twitter of Chris Pratt being a white supremacist. Trending.
Jar of mayonnaise, Niko.
Here's the problem.
Mayonnaise, veganese.
Listen, unfortunately,
no, Chris Pratt's more like bacon
days.
eggs.
They
Right?
really did crucify
But the
him.
thing is, I'm scrolling, looking for the tweets. I'm like, man, he must have said something crazy for them to be calling him a white supremacist. 30 minutes later,
What did he
Pratt's
say?
the nicest guy in the world. What the fuck?
He didn't say anything. He donated to Tulsi, and then I think he
refused
he
to go on the Russo brothers fundraiser.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Robert Downey, so it was supposed to be the people from Infinity Wars. Robert Downey Jr. didn't go. Robert Downey,
all he did was not attend a fundraiser, I think, like a Biden fundraiser. He just didn't want to participate. And all of a sudden, he's a white supremacist.
Exactly. Well, that and because simultaneously, so Robert Downey Jr. obviously just completely stayed out of politics, right? Chris Pratt made the fatal mistake of, doing, he talked to persona non grata or donated to persona non grata because he, not only did you not go to the fundraiser that we later found out only Kamala could attend, because Joe Biden couldn't be there for whatever reason. But you also the only donation he's ever made in politics was to Tulsi the same night she destroyed Kamala Harris. And now you're a white supremacist.
Racist bastard.
Yeah, he's a Nazi collaborator. Join the
Matthew
team.
McConaughey,
son of a bitch.
Matthew McConaughey last night, y'all heard about his comments that he made? Basically saying that he's talking shit about Hollywood liberals. Don't worry, conservatives got it from him too.
Well,
but
he called them the far left in Hollywood. And I'm like, there is no far left in Hollywood, bro. But okay.
Matthew McConaughey is the far left in Hollywood. That dude is on LSD in the water in Santa Monica playing flipping bongos. Like,
right?
because it's Wednesday.
But
no.
The conclusion they came to was that because he was calling out the privileged, what he called Hollywood illiberals, it actually means that he is expressing his white privilege. That's what he was. I'm like, what the? So I'm saying, what? When you refer to Hollywood liberals, who are y'all normally thinking about? Be honest.
Sarah Silverman, but
Milano.
Yeah.
Deborah
Messing. Yeah, Messing.
Really ironic
I'm blocked by all of these people.
All the A-listers, basically.
I'm not like,
Everybody missed these blocked by.
I'm blocked by every single one of these people.
I'm not like,
Griffin, Rosie O'Donnell,
fucking Chris Rock. Yeah, Chris Rock in there when he said Hollywood liberal. Chris Rock and fucking Kevin Hart. Those guys always fucking. No, that's not what
on the View.
So let me say this: the ironic thing about Chris Pratt being called a white supremacist or a Nazi is that his father-in-law, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is actually a descendant of a white supremacist and Nazi. His father was the lead SS officer before dying in World War II. Then his mother actually married the lead SS officer after the fact. He often gets caught wearing the death's head on his belt buckle. In fact, you can go check out Time magazine cover where he's arm in arm with Michael Bloomberg. Now, I get it. You could say Nazi and Jew. That doesn't work. They're just, listen, they're authoritarians. They don't really care about race.
Yeah.
So
is that why Arnold Schwarzenegger ran? Or I guess I shouldn't say ran, but is that why he came over here, because of the connection his father had?
Well, he always had dreams. So listen, there's actually old Playboy interview with him where he had a dream of being on a mountaintop like Hitler and a great dictator somewhere. Now, I mean, aside from the racist shit he's pulled, you go watch Pumping Iron.
I lived here when he was governor.
Listen, man. He's the dude who, when he married Maria Shriver, it came out that he was good friends with Kurt Waldheim, who was working at the UN at the time. But the scandal was he was a lead Nazi. And he actually came out and fucking said, Kurt will be at my wedding. We love him. I don't care what's in the papers. And they used to do a bit on Howard Stern where Fred would be Kurt Waldheim Jr. and just talk about how much he was in love with Arnold. It was a running bit.
And that was the old Howard Stern right there.
And to just speak to how much power and whatever Schwarzenegger was willing to do to it, to get it, he was a houseboy before he was anything. To get acting gigs, he posed nude in gay men magazines and stayed at one of these dudes that had the gay, male models and the supercut guys stay at his house while they would come up in Hollywood. That's not like a unique story to Hollywood.
Yeah, not at all.
And a million different actors that are
Terry Crews talked about that.
Yeah, so I'm just pointing out that when you get to that level of social climbing, I mean, Schwarzenegger actually associates with Nazis. Nobody whispers it. They're ready to see Terminator 56, but they want to go after fucking Chris Pratt, his son-in-law, for donating to Tulsi Gabbard. Hey,
yeah, that was weird, right? That's what I'm like, hold on. And I had read about that, and it's funny because, like, now that you're mentioning it, I'm like, yeah, why the fuck didn't they use that to attack him? Because they all about guilt by association with the neoliberal left. Like, and that would have been the most, but you can't do that because no, Arnold's one of us, guys. Calm down.
Yeah,
Calm
civility, Niko. You must be civil.
Civility. Come on, guys. Fascism doesn't work unless it's civil.
Yeah, he's not a threat. He's not a threat to them either. There's no reason to go after Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's not.
Hold up, really quick. Fee, we have been doing a lot of talking, and I'm not really used to Fiorella not talking. So,
why are you patting me on the back?
There we go. That's my Fee. All right.
That was so patronizing. Like, there, little girl.
See, the thing is, you gotta know Pasta though. Pasta's a grandma.
It took another one.
Pasta's a grandma. So it's not a
come on.
Oh my god.
Oh, come on.
Dude,
We're just giving you shit,
I'll make a nice dinner and I'll get yelled at. What the hell are you doing here? I'm
not true.
Give me this. You make this. It
is true. But in all seriousness,
Pasta's salty when he's sick.
The Texas case, because it's obviously a lot of different like moving parts. I don't know how much y'all looked into it, but I know you stay up fucking all night every night. So I didn't know if you saw something that we did.
Nobody on this panel sleeps.
No.
We really sleep. We know that. We track her Twitter like 6:38, 4:32 a.m. She leaves a tweet. She retweets something at 5:01 a.m. So we know she doesn't sleep.
I can really text Fiorella anytime of the day or the night, and I know that she's going to respond at like in the next 30 minutes. Like I know she's up.
I honestly haven't looked too much into the Texas thing. I've actually not. I've been too busy just working on videos talking about how Bernie Sanders is now a cuck and a CIA.
God damn! Oh shit!
So that's what I've been doing right now. I didn't get a chance to look into the Texas thing, but I'm working on a video about how Bernie Sanders is basically just a semblance of what he once was.
I actually appreciate that.
He is crap. I mean, he's literally pushing all these CIA talking points, dismissing election fraud, dismissing
a giant piece of shit.
He's awful right now. I mean, he's pretty much another establishment neoliberal, and all the Bernie supporters, a lot of them are still under this like this fantasy rose-colored glasses that he is somehow still Bernie. I'm just so fucking done with it.
Like, and my thing is with Bernie, and by the way, I actually kind of appreciate you more so covering that stuff, because I think it's important for like former hardcore Bernie supporters to expose him, because they don't want to listen to anybody else, really. Yeah. Although the tide is changing in that regard, but like it's still important. Now, I also think it's important because and I said this before, I said, yo, by the end of the primary, I'm like, yo, I'm not sure if I would have voted for Bernie in the general, because
I would have.
This is how he's acting when he got his ass handed to him and cheated. Imagine what he would have did to stay in the good graces of the establishment after winning, just so they don't try to, because we know how they do. They immediately try to destroy legacy the moment you step out of line. And Bernie is not good at counter narrative. Like, he's just not fucking good at it. He can rah all day whenever nobody's in front of him. But when it comes down to like the actual rhetorical battles that you have to be able to like Tulsi and even I would give Nina much more credit. Bernie fucking never deserved Nina Turner. First of all, let me just say that shit. He didn't deserve Nina. He didn't deserve Tulsi. Man, nah, fuck that bitch. You didn't deserve me. God damn it. You ain't deserve me. I was in my fucking car homeless over this fucking lawsuit for your election. And
which he didn't even acknowledge, by the way. He didn't even acknowledge that lawsuit.
No, he's not going to. He never will.
Oh no, no. It's even worse than that, miss. He's in a radio interview. He said, I think it's important that we don't focus on the past. We need to focus on the future. I almost lost my shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the audacity. Like, so
if direct line from Barack Obama when he was talking about
we have to look forward.
War criminals. He's like, we tortured some folks. We don't want to look back.
Bernie's spent his entire career pretending the national security state doesn't exist.
Yes.
In order to get elected as a progressive Democrat, the first thing you have to do is pretend the national security state doesn't exist.
There's an absolute shift in his career. In the 70s and 80s, he was pretty awesome. And then in the 90s,
as a mayor.
Okay, look, dude, if you're the mayor of Vermont, it's one thing to be like, you know, but if you want to,
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying you have to look at that time period if you want to see the shift in his consciousness and the shift in his goals and like his.
Dude, yeah, I know. I mean, I understand. I understand.
Can I give you my conspiracy theory about Bernie? It's not really just about Bernie, but
he got turned into a CIA agent when he holidayed in Moscow.
Nope. Let me tell you, he didn't get turned into anything. So y'all know this is Shroom City over here. And my shadow self the other night put me on some game. Okay. I did my shadow work at my wife's behest, and she was absolutely right for doing so. She put me on my shadow self, put me on some game. He said, given the way that the stars are aligning and we're, December 21st, the age of the Aquarius, apparently all Black people are also doing shrooms on the 21st, which I just got the memo the other day. Given that we're coming to the age of enlightenment, at this very juncture, at this intersection where you're at, my shadow let me know, hey, bitch, we're taking over right now. That's who's running the show. Everybody's shadow, unless you have done your shadow work and have merged with your shadow, is coming out and telling the goddamn truth on your ass, showing their real intentions and what they've always truly desired. And when I asked him, well, bitch, how do you know that shit? Like, I'm talking to myself, in my head, my eyes closed. He's like, you ain't seen us? I was like, bitch, I saw it. You're my shadow. You were there. He was like, it was a warning. Jordan Peele's shadow wrote it to warn y'all. I was like, oh God, oh shit. So now think about it from this perspective. A man who his parents died right after he graduated high school. His brother, his only family that was left because of obviously the Holocaust, ends up moving to Europe. Oh, what's the best way for me to become noticed and accepted and loved in Chicago as a white Jewish kid? Oh, I'll join the civil rights movement and I'll pretend to be angrier at what's happening to Black people than Black people are. And then I'll move to Vermont to prove how dedicated I am to Black people. I'll run away from all of them. And I'll say the right things all the time. But when you're a fucking activist in college, what do you really have to do? You get to say the right things, and it looks like that's actually what you believe in. And you ride that wave. And then every time one of those people in that club that you want to be a part of say something, you just rail against them because you're really not mad at them for being part of the establishment, for being fucking CIA cucks. What you're really mad at is that you can't be part of that club because you just want to belong, because you've literally since you were 18, because of his parents and his brother leaving, you had no family, nothing. You had to start from scratch with no Facebook or Twitter to build off of. His shadow self is now taking over. It is revealing exactly what he's actually always wanted. Because, like, to be frank, it was the first indication of that to me was when he was like, no, I don't support reparations. I have my own plan. Hold the fuck up. Do you know who your co-chair is? You're going to do that as Nina Turner is simultaneously making arguments for reparations, like damn near with tears in her eyes. And you're like, when you got Killer Mike as your fucking surrogate, and you got Cornel West as your surrogate, and you have the audacity why would you, at that point, Bernie, you ain't had no problem doing it before, fucking lie. But we weren't even worth the lie. And Kamala Harris, I'm not doing shit. I'm not doing anything for black people. Why would I do that? Because just 2 days ago, you said you were going to give reparations to black people. What? No, I'm not. They're snitching on themselves unnecessarily. And no one can really understand why. Because y'all have had zero problem with lying in the past. Like Obama in 2008, boy, fucking played the part. If people want to, once again, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, go watch those debates. Played the part. Calling out the CIA, calling out the FBI, calling out Clinton to her goddamn face, to the point now he's screaming, defund the police, fucking stupid. Da, da, da. Bro, okay, I mean, yeah, you can feel whatever way you want to feel about it on either side of it. Why say it? You know who your audience is. What do you have to gain from that? This is Obama. You only have something to lose every time you open your fucking mouth. Every time. And yet, people like Obama, people like Bernie, people like, Nancy Pelosi, you can't understand what the fuck she's saying because she's unintelligible. But every one of these people continue to just put their foot in their mouths. And I really believe it's true. I believe people's shadow selves, if they have not worked on themselves and acknowledged their traumas and their secret desires, and that the shadow self is more of you than you are. For people who think that, that's just my subconscious. No. It is you. It dictates your action.
Hold on. Okay, I don't know a lot about this shadow stuff, but do psychopaths have shadow selves? Because I don't think
they do, but so this is something I actually talked to my shadow self about. And what he told me is that psychopaths generally are completely overrun by their shadow selves because there's a deterioration of whatever it is in your brain that's supposed to keep that in check. When it's like it just is gone, and so your shadow self has completely taken over. So you're still out of balance. And so instead of the shadow self being something we kind of like hear and listen to and acknowledge every now and then, for psychopaths it's the reverse. Their conscious self is something they only hear and see and think about every now and then.
Well, let me just say this. The reason that these people are going full board right now is because everyone's going full board right now. This is the Great Reset. You talk about their shadow selves, man. The people that are now running the show and are putting people in power, they are the epitome of sociopathy. They don't care about anybody else but themselves. They are on a power trip where they're going to see how much they can take and how long they can hold it and how long their narrative is going to hold. And we're not part of the equation anymore. It's all about whatever they can institute through this quote unquote rebuild better. Cuomo has now said, you're not going back to normal. He said it this week. There is no going back to normal. He literally said it. He put it out there.
I was at the club last Tuesday, Cuomo, so you can kiss my ass.
He joked. He joked on television with his buddy Fauci that they're the De Niro and Pacino team.
I saw that.
Two people that made their bones. Yes. Yeah. Two people that made their bones playing gangsters. He gave his state to billionaires. He gave the contact tracing.
Another example. Why would you say that? That is not strategic.
There is no strategy, Niko. It's over. The strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rise up and your max fucking bar. We're going to hit you with $50,000 in fines. We're going to get the sheriff's department, because nobody else will do it, in fucking undercover vehicles. We're going to intimidate you. Then we're going to lie and say we broke our leg. And then we're going to arrest you.
Yep.
Okay? So the new narrative is, and then we're gonna have SNL do a skit on how you fucking suck for
Yep.
goddamn trying to have a business. They
Yep.
know they have everybody behind them. They just took an election. They had Leslie from fucking 60 Minutes in front of a president say that the Russians,
No.
that he was never spied on them. No, spied on your campaign. Hunter Biden laptop. I'm sorry, that's not his dick out in front of a 14-year-old girl that happens to be his niece and Joe Biden's granddaughter. And those aren't texts between him and his father where he knows that his fucking granddaughter is being molested. That scandal doesn't fucking exist anymore.
It does in Australia, apparently. I saw an article about it the other day. Somebody was showing me articles that like Australia was covering this shit. And they're like, kind of like, what the? And this is, Australia's intelligence community is part of the Five Eyes. And even they're like, bro, okay, I know that we're supposed to be like in this whole club and shit like that, but y'all really not gonna cover this? Y'all really not gonna talk about this shit? Like, y'all know this, man. Like father, like son, huh? Anyway, but it's crazy to me. Bro, Jason, you're 100% right, and there's no plan anymore. There is no, because these people already have all the money in the world. They already have all the power anyone could want. They just prove that they can steal an election in front of the fucking world from the two most respectively popular candidates in their respective parties. They just said, bitch, watch us. Oh my goddamn beer. You thought Henry Wallace got it? Watch this. We gonna over your both the greatest hopes and turn them into little bitches. Well, let me say, you're gonna watch it happen and not do shit about it.
I think it's hold my ice cream. Hold my ice cream, not hold my beer.
Here's why though. They're all united now. Mm-hmm. They're all working together now. For the most part, like there's always going to be some like internal political struggles and squabbles, and that gets really, really messy when you're talking about ridiculously wealthy sociopaths. Yeah, like we tend to bleed for that, but because they are, we have to be.
Yeah, I gotta say one more thing about that. So the other thing that my shadow told me, because I was like, bro, what the fuck is the point? Like, what is it that drives a shadow? And it was like the most bro, I had to look at my wife. I'm like, oh my motherfucking guy, I'm not having a breakdown, but I'm like, I guess it's an epiphany. I'm like, he said a shadow's entire like goal is to escape consequence. And when you think about it from that perspective and what we have been seeing, it makes perfect sense, because the only way at this point that you can escape consequence, because you know, like obviously a lot of people have already, like they can see plainly, like when you can't even get above 50% favorability for this vaccine, that's the most telling statistic of fucking 2020. That means we really don't buy shit from y'all right now. Really, that's what they're saying. Because I can't say it because I'm a Democrat. I can't really tell y'all who I really want to vote for, who I really feel. I can't talk about the COVID because I can't talk about COVID itself, because that makes me. But when they say you trust this vaccine, that basically is asking, do you trust everything that this government and the powers that be have told you for the last 2 years? 50% of less than 50% of people said, oh, excuse me, more than 50% of people said, no, we don't trust shit that they said, or else you would trust this fucking vaccine. But people are fucking terrified to say that. And they know that whenever you got to march Bush, march Obama, march Bill, you got to a pedophile, a warmonger, and a slave driver walk into a fucking bar. Like, are you kidding me? But when the only way that you can escape consequence from everybody is to control everybody.
And listen, that's what this is. This is about control. You know, I don't know if we want to go there, but I'm gonna take it there.
Go there, fucking James. Go there, Jason. Go there.
We were talking about this disclosure, supposedly the big story, and you're gonna see it everywhere. And people used to ask Julian Assange, they've asked Snowden, what do you know about the UFOs and the aliens? Well, now we have this Israeli space official. He's in there for 30 years. He headed up their program, saying that not only do aliens exist, but they've been in communication exclusively with the United States and Israel. and that they have a galactic federation that's located on Mars, a underground base. We have U.S. representatives there, and Trump is aware of this, wanted to tell people, but the public's not ready for it yet, and they have to understand what space really is and how space works. This is the same propagated garbage, and this is the reason we're going to play more of this. That's coming out of this 2030 agenda, World Economic Forum. That's what disclosure is, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I did a whole video on it. I'd encourage people to check it out. But the same people, okay, that are telling you that you'll own nothing in 10 years and you're going to be happy about it, the same people that say you're going to rent things by drone and that you're not going to eat meat and you're going to fucking get free organs they're going to print for you, because that's what happens. They're really concerned about your health. And I'm sure the organ printing is happening for everybody here. When they close it out, let's just skip to it right here. After they tell you about the carbon tax you're going to pay, okay, you're going to go to Mars, okay? We're going to Mars, and then we're going to keep you healthy in space, and then we're going to find aliens. All right.
That sounds like human harvesting, actually, Jason. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like incubation. It sounds like what you're just saying is they're fattening us up like pigs, is what you sound like.
And then we're gonna go to Mars when they need us to go away to give an organ to a billionaire. There's literally a movie about that where the people live in a hole. It's called The Island. But an interesting thing you can look up on Wikipedia. The U.S. is the only country, I believe there was one joint U.S.-EU exercise to successfully send anything to Mars. Every other time, every other attempt by every other nation has either failed when it arrived at Mars and sent back no information, or failed in orbit here in in Earth's orbit. Mm-hmm. Most notably, like the Phobos grunt. I don't know if you remember that, when it literally got shot out of the sky essentially by an electromagnetic weapon. It was like going up, and then was just like, oh, got him.
The fuck?
So the U.S. and then there's one joint European-U.S. exercise that successfully put any kind of measurement instrument on Mars for the history of Earth's space programs.
Well,
the U.S. is the only thing to get that.
I will say this though. There definitely has to be some credence given to the idea that, like, at least we're in contact with somebody, because Trump is about the most reactionary motherfucker that has ever existed. And for some goddamn reason, he woke up and was like, hey, bitch, we need a Space Force. We need that shit right now. Don't ask why, just get it done. Just get it done.
All right, so I agree on that. First of all, the idea of Space Force being new, there's nothing new about it. Okay,
1983 or 84.
Well, the idea goes back to the 50s.
Yeah, but U.S. Space Command, as a branch of the Air Force, was early 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah. So in the 1980s, it was actually a big deal, and it was actually publicized. I can pull it up, but the Ronald Reagan cover of Time magazine, because he was calling it, it was the Strategic Initiative, but it was the Star Wars program.
Yep.
Where you get all these kooky conspiracy theories about DEW weapons, because they do exist. Directed energy weapons, all this. Right now, we're in the next level of it. That's why NASA is in bed with Google on AI. It has nothing to do with going to Mars.
And Elon.
And Amazon.
It has everything to do with Starlink, Neuralink. In fact, the Russians themselves said that the idea that they were going to terraform Mars with Elon Musk was a cover to weaponize space. They know.
Yep.
So
you guys need to check out Morgan Archikina's work on this. She's been covering Space Force for a couple years now, and she has really good pieces out. She writes for Sputnik, if anybody wants to check her out.
So what
everybody here
wrong about the trips to Mars. There's been a couple other nations either successful or on the way.
So I feel like everybody here is pretty much accepted and knows by now. And actually, I learned whenever I went on Jason's show, and when I first went on, when he was like, yeah, I mean, clearly they're literally using all this shit for cover to weaponize space. And it's for me, like, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, duh. Like at this point, what the fuck isn't an excuse for the US to weaponize something? Even Elon Musk, like if you recently, so first of all, the only way that you can own any stock is it Tesla or SpaceX? Which one is it, Jason? I know you know that you have to buy Google stock.
It's SpaceX because SpaceX is a part of the again that Google NASA apparatus. Remember, we didn't go to the ISS for like a decade and a half without Russian rockets in a joint program. It's just this year that they started using SpaceX rockets again just to go up to the ISS. Forget about anywhere else. And I'll just say this. Remember, the latest technology that we know about that's rocket-based is the Saturn V Werner von Braun style. That's not how technology works. Okay, that's not how technology works. And one of the main reasons that they've really classified most of what rocket technology has become is because, again, it's not really involved taking us to the moon or taking us to Mars. It's weaponizing missiles, all right, and other projectiles, because we have other propulsion systems and have for a long time.
So Elon Musk and SpaceX just closed all these defense contracts out with the Pentagon. A lot of people, that shit just flew right the fuck under the radar. And they're like, yep, it's just so they can attack people within fucking minutes. And no, I'm bro, I did a video on it, and I'm thinking like, yo, this is probably gonna blow up because everybody's probably gonna be concerned at the fact the United States might have the fucking power to attack someone in literally minutes. Like, nope. Now, granted, it's probably been suppressed and all that good shit. Well, so I'll take that with a grain of salt. But at the same time,
it came out recently that the scientist in Iran that was killed may have been killed by a machine gun with AI controlled by satellites.
Very
yeah.
So there's already been open public use, if this is right, of space weaponry, and that's if you don't think like the Beirut explosion was space weaponry.
Bro, I was thinking that, but like I didn't want to say the shit. Cause I'm like, how the fuck is the United States? I'm like, how the fuck did they do this? That's the first thing I thought of, right? Like I feel like I'm not the only one that thought of this, but I'm like, how the fuck did the United States do this shit?
Yeah, I thought of that.
And it was because it was so fucking random. It was, I mean, that ain't no damn terrorist attack, bitch.
I would vote kinetic weaponry. It's basically they just shoot a giant metal rod out of space.
You mean like in G.I. Joe 2?
Maybe.
Have you seen it? One. Bro, so if you've never seen the second G.I. Joe 2, look up the fucking weapon that they use. So the whole premise, it's fucking creepy as fuck that you said that, but the whole premise behind the movie is they take over the government. So they commit a coup by what's his name that can shapeshift and impersonate. I don't know if y'all G.I. Joe fans, but the guy that can Skeletor. Not Skeletor. I can't remember his fucking name, but basically he can shapeshift and he becomes the president in the first movie, and then go into the second movie, and he is pushing for denuclearization, which is interesting. So then he gets all the world leaders into one room and says, I'm going to launch nukes at you if you will not denuclearize right now. So he launches the nukes. And then, of course, because of ego, they retaliate immediately. And then he immediately destroys his nukes and is like, so which one of y'all going to be responsible for the nuclear holocaust? So they have to all destroy their nukes midair. Then he pulls out his actual weapon and it's a fucking rod that they drop from fucking space, and it lets, because gravity from that is fat, it can push the fucking rocket faster than any propulsion system that they could come up with. Yeah, and they drop that bitch and it destroys all of London. That is, I bullshit you not.
Didn't they have one in the Michael Myers movie? The what was it called?
This isn't a new theory.
In space.
This is not a new theory. Morgan covered it on Slow News Day a little bit. Did she cover it on Facts on the Ground?
Yeah. No,
it's nuts,
space
dude.
weaponry, and you guys, they're so fucking crazy that they want to like nuke shit in space. Like
you guys need to get Morgan on your show.
You guys need to get Morgan on your show. He is so wicked smart, and seriously, this whole space thing is so fascinating. It's ridiculous.
So you can blow the fuck out of a place without radiation.
Radiation. So now you're in a position where
and send troops in to invade it a day after it cools down.
Exactly, because now you're in a position where now we can't even. A lot of the reason we obviously don't use nuclear weapons is because we don't want to have to deal. Like, I don't give a fuck how good your bunker is. Shit probably ain't that good to survive a nuclear holocaust. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. If it hits your shit, you fuck. But if you can threaten to use a weapon like that in space, and then once you get up there, And y'all, I dare you. If you try to make the same weapon, you're done. You're done.
So let's bring it home. What's this have to do with the disclosure?
Go ahead, Jason.
Home. Well, again, one of the big things with disclosure, guys, is the fact that the UN, the Rockefellers, people like Stephen Greer have been about this forever, right? So, I was alluding to this in the very beginning, but everybody needs to check out Annie Jacobson's work. Annie Jacobson has done a book called Area 51. She's done one on DARPA called The Pentagon's Brain. She did one on Project Paperclip, the of the Nazis, for our CIA, for NASA, for that creation. And
the Nazi draft.
What's that?
The Nazi draft.
That's right.
Because it wasn't just the U.S.
Absolutely not. And exactly, it wasn't just the U.S. So, I'm going to try to compress this as much as possible. But one of the stories is that basically what happened at Roswell was that Stalin used technology that was built by the Horton brothers, and anybody can check out the Horton brothers. They're the guys that built the flying wing that would eventually become the stealth aircraft. That is the last declassified military aircraft we found about in 1990. Because that's possible that 30 years have gone by. We got nothing better. Anyway, that's the last declassified one. They were working on it in the 40s. So these brothers, they were taken by the Russians, but U.S. intelligence didn't know at the time. She claims used another aircraft to drop some of their technology in there with genetically modified humans. Okay, and that's what they saw. So they were not actually aliens. They were genetically modified humans. And actually, it is fact that U.S. intelligence did find the Horton brothers, brought them to the United States. They worked on many military programs in secret. And the thing is, if you look at the multitude of human experimentation we know about outside of black sites, like Area 51, think about what even goes on at Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo.
What fuck you mean Area 51? You mean the COVID vaccine? mRNA fucking gene manipulation? You mean that type of human experimentation?
All I'm saying is this. If you look at what we've done, a lot of people want to point to Tuskegee, but you look at the radiation programs, you look at dumping cadmium sulfate on populations in St. Louis, look at MK Ultra and the drugs they use there. You look at the Chimera programs that are openly out. We all saw the glow-in-the-dark pigs 15 years ago. We all know about a genetically modified watermelon. We're now seeing inside the vaccines them openly talking about these chimeras. If you don't think they have the craziest genetically modified beings that may actually believe they're aliens, okay, I would disagree. And we're talking about Roswell happened in the 40s.
What was that movie you had me watch?
Level. And when I said to you earlier that this is about the militarization of space, at the same time that SpaceX puts their Starlink up, DARPA is launching their military version. Neuralink, the brain chip that lets you play music in your head, is 50-plus-year-old technology that DARPA pioneered. All right? You have to understand, we have been led down a hall of so many mirrors, and we have been prepared psychologically for some kind of alien disclosure for decades, from loving E.T., adoring Star Wars, a galactic federation in Star Trek, the History Channel morphing from real facts about World War II into aliens and Bigfoot. Okay?
Everything is aliens now.
It's all there. And the next level is it's integrated into this globalist plan that what are the two other outward threats that we could never see? Asteroids, which we're seeing a lot more of. That latest Match commercial is hilarious, but it ends like shit. And by the way, it is a fact and that they're noticing more asteroids than ever, but they have more equipment than ever. You know, exactly. More testing. So they're able to detect more. So they're able to actually put a camera out there and say, this one's really close, and instill more fear. Now, an alien invasion.
Well, and they want to mine them.
What's that?
They want to mine them.
They've talked about
probably smart, but Jason, real quick, can I put this really quick into simplistic terms for all my political junkies, but maybe not all my conspiracy guys out there? Basically, what he is saying is, think about Syria, where there is not ISIS. Well, motherfucker, will we create ISIS if it will allow us to create weapons to destroy ISIS while y'all cheer us on? That's basically, so if there probably is at least not in the context of what we're being told. That's not, they got to say there's aliens, because otherwise you won't be scared enough to encourage us building weapons in space to destroy those.
And unite under one government worldwide.
And unite under one government, exactly. How did our federal government truly get this big? Because there's always an enemy, and you need us to have total control. And if we're going to defeat it, that's really what took place.
Swear to God, there's a documentary out there called Invisible Enemies.
Really? I mean, probably that makes sense, but it makes perfect. It's not like, once again, this is United States, the fucking kings of telegraphing. They do the same exact shit. It don't matter if it's in Afghanistan, Iraq, or fucking space. It is the same pattern of behavior. Let's create an enemy to get the public behind creating the weaponry to destroy our real enemies that they wouldn't approve of, or if that we would even like, that's not our fucking enemy. What are you talking about? You told us we were going to fight these motherfuckers. And they're like, oh, well, shit happens. Sometimes you got to flush the toilet twice, So that's basically what Jason is saying.
Yeah,
so what do you think?
It's openly been. I mean, listen, these black budget programs have gone on forever, and that's why I'm so concerned about the technopoly. It's not a technocracy. It's not just bureaucrats. Google's not just a monopoly. Again, they're working with NASA, which is our space program, which is our artificial intelligence program, which is our quantum computing program. And Alphabet is a company that owns the first largest search engine in the world, the second largest search engine in the world, which is YouTube, which is the first largest video platform, the largest operating system in the world. And we have cooperation with every other peripheral company somewhere in the military industrial complex, including Microsoft, including IBM, any kind of competition. So we're in a different world right now.
Hey, you're talking about, so SpaceX effectively got a bunch of government subsidies, right? And Tesla got a bunch of government subsidies for them to then turn around and get government contracts to produce the weapons that from the company that got started from government subsidies. The fucking money isn't even leaving the government's hands. That's what y'all ain't figured out yet. The money hasn't left the government's hands. And nobody's worried about this. Like, why do you think Tesla, remember when Tesla kind of like for that 28-hour period of life flew off the handle? Fuck this. I don't want nothing to do with Tesla no more. I want nothing to do, or not Tesla, excuse me, SpaceX anymore. He was talking about breaking up Tesla at one point. Boy, when I tell you, they killed Tesla stocks, and they clearly were telling him, oh, bitch, you forgot how you got here, huh? That's okay. We got some. All of a sudden, he was back on the bandwagon, wasn't he? He was back
with
on that
a Lego truck.
Huh?
With a Lego truck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But that tells you, that's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, why do you think Mark Zuckerberg is so fucking rich? Like, I always tell people, Mark Cuban is from like just out of all the, that's the most genius fucking businessman that I have ever seen. And he is worth, like, starting from the bottom with no goddamn government subsidies, worth what? 1/100th of what somebody like a failed businessman like Bezos is worth? Mm-hmm. Come on, bro. Y'all don't think that that's kind of fucking weird? Nobody think that's Zuckerberg, fucking Bezos, these people are not businessmen. They did not create businesses, cultivate them, build a good employee culture. No. They weren't really good at their jobs. They, like, Facebook was getting its ass handed to it by MySpace for a long time, and then it was getting its ass handed to it by Twitter for a long time. And everybody like, bitch, I'm not going on Facebook. That's just for parents and shit. And then out of nowhere, somehow it still becomes the most profitable social media company in the world. Like, while getting its ass handed to it at the same time. Amazon was unprofitable. eBay was fucking Amazon up. But somehow it's Amazon that gets offered all the
and Bezos has a deal with the CIA, and he sits on a board of the Department of Defense, and Mark Zuckerberg works with the Atlantic Council. It's like they all have these shady ass connections.
And the $1 billion is
InQtel startup funding. Their startup money came partially from InQtel.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were already in debt to the CIA from the moment they became a thing.
Jeff Bezos, I don't give a shit what that shit says on paper. They'll say he's the world's first trillionaire. No, he's not. On paper, But really all that is showing, like Steve just said, is nope, that's how much in debt he is to the deep state. Yeah, that money ain't his.
And let me just say, historically, you look at things like JP Morgan dying with really almost nothing. And these things are kind of revealed at the end that they're front men for a lot of these things. I don't know, maybe royal families that have been around for generations that are protected by government agencies but hold no power. I don't know if they could be them. I don't know.
That legit are trillionaires.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. It could be them. But it is that problem because, they are in large part front men, but they know they're front men. Like Elon Musk's not a dumb guy, but he's nowhere near as brilliant as everybody thinks, Peter Thiel is a very, very brilliant guy. He's more of a Kissinger guy behind the scenes, but wants to be a billionaire. He'll never work up to the Bezos level, maybe monetarily, but power levels and how he controls society is far beyond Bezos. But Bezos
just got Palantir over $850 million in contracts with the U.S. government.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, I do have to jet. My back has been killing me. I've been sitting down for an hour, 40 minutes. My 41-year-old ass is trying to go.
I have a question though.
We're doing a push-up contest next time I see you, Bermas.
Hopefully
are you going to DC on the 12th
or the 4th?
I'm going to DC, so that's the big announcement. It looks like it's really going to happen. I got this crazy project that I'm probably going to be talking to some of you in private about. I've already talked to Steve about. That looks like it's moving forward, kind of out of nowhere, and I better be able to scramble and move in the next 3 or 4 days, or I'm going to be a shell of my former self. And not be
message me privately about that.
Can you guys hear us?
What's that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Really quick before you go, Bermas, and I know I'm just kind of curious really right now, guys, because I know me and Fee will probably be getting back on schedule and we'll probably be talking about this, but the whole Jimmy Dore thing with him trying to move people to get behind this whole mindset that they can tell, not like they ever had the idea before. I'm sure they knew they could have done this, that they can withhold their vote from Nancy Pelosi being the Speaker of the House to get her to put Medicare for all on the table. I'm just very curious because I know Fiorello can go off on this right now. We've been kind of talking about it a little bit in the household, but I wanted to know your guys' opinion on this whole situation. And being that you're 41 and your ass is hurting, why don't you just tell me about what your thoughts are on him trying to do this? Because I thought the whole reason for them starting a new party was so that we never have to deal with the Democratic Party ever again. So, I just want to know your guys' thoughts on this whole situation.
I think Jimmy's almost there. I think that, he wants to believe that you can still kind of vote your way into anything. But as even you saw with Trump, even with what he did with Big Pharma, had to be an executive order, right? And at 41, I'm going to try to take more personal responsibility over this big gut right here that happened after the holidays. And the more I can move, I'm going to hit the fans. I'm around all these MMA guys now, and I'm starting to call fights. I got to at least be able to do, what I was. And plus, I know that I feel better on that. I got to go with the personal responsibility about because, listen, as a lot of you guys know, I don't really believe in voting at this point. We saw what just happened in this election. I'm calling it election 2020. And I'm telling you right now, if we want our freedom back, we want these lockdowns to end and not a push for mandatory vaccinations, even through corporate. We got to go just take over our governments. We got to find 500 people in each state. We got to occupy style the local Congress and Senate. We got to sit down, do our work from there. That's where we're going to telecommute from. We got to stream from there constantly, make them censor all of us, make them use force against us. How long can that last? Seriously. And it has to be done before they inaugurate whoever. That's our only shot. The great resistance. So I'm not only going down to DC for this project, but I'm going to try to fucking build bridges and not burn them. Everybody saw I got Alex Jones on my program this week. I'm reaching out to people that have audiences. I don't like Glenn Beck, but Glenn, let's go. Come on. Blake, are you serious about this or what? I already talked to locally a guy that owns a paper here. A guy that owns a local gym. He's ready to mobilize 100 people when we find a day in the state of Iowa. People need to be decentralized leaders. This ain't about being a Democrat or a Republican. This intertwines with everything we've done with Action for Assange. This is more than just the First Amendment. This is your body. This is your humanity. This is your mobility. And it's not just the United States. The great resistance must happen across the world. So, if you want medical care for all, if you want a fair medical system where Big Pharma is not able to take advantage of you, I was talking about it with Derek Brose today, right? The conscious resistance. You want to see how I rebuild the future? You don't fucking make it so these guys aren't criminally liable if they hurt you and they know it. You know, it's not just lawsuits. We take away the lobbyists and their money. We actually prosecute billionaires, and not just to sue them, but to put them in ass prison like any fucking buddy else. We make examples of the criminals again. We bring back the judicial, executive, and legislative branch, and we stop with this transhumanist agenda. God bless and amen. I love you guys.
Yep.
Thanks for having me. And I'm sorry it's been such a long time, Andrew. We'll talk.
Have a good night, buddy.
Hey, I gotta
Thank
good,
you.
hey, good night.
Taste of that gut is
Thank you,
cute.
Bermas.
Don't let anybody tell you different.
But-
I like it.
Can
God bless the holidays.
Can I say something too? Along the same lines, by the way. And I know Jason was joking about like, you know, getting in shape and like, but like, so Pasta and Fiorella know I'm kind of like a workout nut. My back and my neck was messed up over the last couple of months, and I was actually depressed because I couldn't work out. But one of the reasons I work out so often isn't actually to look like, I mean, I do. It's because when I was back in the day in my old neighborhoods, like if you couldn't run, if you couldn't throw a punch, if you were not in shape, you might not make it that day. You had to be what we call TTG, which is train to go. What Jason is talking about is absolutely 100% necessary. And in order for us to be mentally ready to do something like that, we have to be physically ready as best to our ability as well. And then everybody has their different ways of doing that, and everybody obviously has their capacity. But within that capacity, you have to make that effort because there is something to be said for being able to maintain that regimen. And everybody in this damn chat mentally, y'all are, you know, fucking, no pun intended, Arnold Schwarzenegger out here without the fucking steroids. I mean, maybe shrooms is steroids, who knows? But that's neither here nor there. But in all seriousness, physically, the entire movement really, and this, by the way, where our MMA guys, which a lot of them are becoming part of the movement, come into play. We need training. We all need training. We need to be physically fit as much as we are at the moment mentally fit. And I believe that is also a part of the personal responsibility. Because motherfucker, they're going to be, it's not going to be pretty. I know it. It's not. And what Jason is talking about is absolutely necessary. And Jason, hit my line. If you're down, bro, I'm fucking down. Like this shit's not going to be fixed through electoral politics.
I got it, bro. All right, listen, we'll talk on the flip. Thanks, guys. I love you.
For sure.
So
The thing we've always asked people
on Nancy
to do.
Pelosi, then, huh?
You what?
It's a no on Nancy Pelosi, then. Huh?
So if I may,
If you may, you may. Go.
You may not.
I hope what it does is it wakes up some of that like 800,000 person audience that he has that genuinely believes that there are progressives with a spine or that are allowed to go against Nancy Pelosi.
That's the only thing that's going to get out of this. They're not.
I hope that those people then go and like find some real activism to get
I
into.
agree.
For example, Julian Assange.
The thing that I hope,
or election integrity.
the thing that we've done since we kind of started here was the idea of just literally doing what you can with the time and money that you have. Because that's all this is. This is literally like, I knew Steve from YouTube and I was like, hey, do you want to do this show with me and Taylor? And that's literally how this started, was just the idea of, hey, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And that could be at a local level, that could be for anything. It doesn't even have to be for a free Assange. If you're someone that hardcore wants Medicare for all, fight to that till the day that you fucking die trying to defend it. Because right now, we're losing all ability to even communicate these other ideas to each other.
It's true. And by the way, what Jimmy is doing is necessary. Like, is it going to work as by like the traditional definition of victory? Maybe not. But what it does is Jimmy has a massive platform. Motherfucker, Trump watches Jimmy's show. So you know these Congress people do. Every time Ro kind of fucks up, he like runs to Jimmy to try and get on his show to fucking cover his ass because he knows that's how DC is fucking watching Jimmy. Does that mean they will try to withhold their vote. No, but now all that entire audience said, okay, we got confirmation.
I really hope that that's what happens, because I'm honestly really tired, and not like tired like in a pissy way, but like I'm exhausted of dealing with these people who still think that AOC is their friend. She's not your friend. She's not
less and less though.
Or that voting in rigged elections inside a duopoly is a pathway to a sustainable future.
Hey, you know what I put out this morning? You know what I put out this morning? I literally put the tweet. The first thing I tweeted out this morning, I said, hey, but it's fuck AOC for real. Like, and back, not even a year ago, 2 months ago, bro, I would have been flooded with AOC trolls. This morning, nothing. No,
oh my God,
people are realizing it
all day.
They've already got you blocked.
Yeah,
they already got me blocked.
That's Bernie supporters for me. Bernie supporters have me blocked.
The thing that I love is that back in 2018, it was me and Niko coordinating to try to get Ocasio-Cortez specifically to endorse Ken Mejia when he was in his district in Los Angeles. And instead, AOC turned and endorsed Khalid, some dude from Hawaii, and was trying to get people to make phone calls instead of build an on-the-ground movement. Do you remember that, Niko?
Bro, of course I remember. That's after I gave that bitch that answer that she was on CNN, and the shit went fucking viral, and that's how she ended up saving her. Bro, and Andrew was here for all of this. He's the reason I ended up connected with AOC's campaign. That little viral answer she gave for Medicare for all, like, oh, we pay for all these wars, we pay for that was me. And I don't like her ass no more. I don't fucking care. I can say it, and I got the witness right here. He's seen the goddamn text messages. I was the one who was getting fucking AOC to that goddamn hellfire
that was before she kicked Vigil out of her campaign. That was before she had her like transition to authoritarianism.
Yep. And AOC had no fucking idea what she was doing rhetorically. When she first got past that primary, like I was kind of taken aback by how fucking stupid she was when she got on the goddamn I'm like, okay. You know, maybe she's nervous, and so she needs some things pre-prepared, and no one in her fucking campaign is prepared for this. So let me just help her out. Not only did I not get a thank you from the bitch, but she took my goddamn words and ran with it, and now I'm sitting here with my dick in my hands, and y'all, my arm was tired because it's my dick, right? And I'm like, yo, so this is what happens when you say the right thing at the right time. And once again, AOC is, and I'm over here like, I can't believe it. And now, granted, I was very, very careful after that about who I, helped out just out of the goodness of my heart. Because, like, to this day, people ask me why I go so hard. I feel I go so hard for AOC because I feel largely responsible for creating a fucking monster. Because it only takes one video.
Well, and we need to not just focus on me though, because it's all of them. And it's easy to go after her because she's kind of the most annoying, but she's definitely not the only one. And like, for example, and that's why I think what Jimmy's doing is so important because, exposing these people is critical because there are a lot of people who still hold on to this cult of personality and think that these are their saviors and all they have to do is just vote harder next time. But it's like Ro Khanna, like a year ago had a tweet out that we need to reform the Espionage Act and we need to protect Julian Assange and whistleblowers and all this other stuff. And he won't.
No, he didn't say Julian's name.
Whistleblowers. Right. I think only said whistleblowers. But to that point, though, he still hasn't mentioned Tulsi's legislation about the Espionage Act. He won't bring up Assange at all.
Khanna wants to be the first Hindu. He wants to be the first Hindu president. Everybody in the 2020.
He's not going to be.
He's not going to be, but he thinks he is. That's why he keeps playing nice with Pelosi while still trying to ingratiate himself with progressives. And the thing is, it's the same because it's the same thing. You can see it. AOC, Ro Khanna, and it's probably a couple other names I'm missing. But basically, Tulsi was the threat to their individual fucking selfish ass ambitions, being the first woman president, being the youngest woman, being the first Hindu president. You know what I'm saying? Like and the reason that they were only going to be able to do that was because of their attachment to who? Bernie. But now obviously Tulsi she's not just a fucking Bernie fucking extension cord or extension tool. She's like her own person, and her principles threaten them on top of that. And if they ever ran against each other, it's not fucking close. So what do? You literally destroy her. Like, and that's what Ro Khanna tried to do, and then go on Jimmy Dore and fucking play stupid like he didn't know what he was doing. Dude was
his recent appearance on Jimmy Dore, I don't know how that doesn't end his career, because that was offensive. I mean, he was like, but you, people got $1,200. Don't you think that was good? Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So Ro Khanna is half a billionaire.
Yep.
And there's a quote about Ro that I've said many a time. It's by Scott Goldman, who wrote a book called The Four. It's about Silicon Valley tech giants. And he says, Ro is a smart man and a thoughtful man, but he's not a member of Congress. That seat belongs to Silicon Valley.
100%. Come on, you're not allowed to get it.
And so, well, the broader point being, Ro is allowed to say a lot of things, because when he does, the amount of people that are engaged on those platforms increases. So he can be as bold as he wants to online.
But that's what makes Ro a fucking problem, because he can say what he wants, and then what happens? People buy into it, and they buy into it, and they buy into it, and they buy into it, and what do we get?
The problem is that people get impressed by tweets. Like, people think that tweets are like prove leadership. Like, Josh Fox tweeted out an Ilhan Omar tweet and was like, leadership. And I'm like, it's a fucking tweet, dude. Calm down. What are you talking about?
But isn't that the problem? The fact that they consider that leadership?
Yes,
I'm like, you got Tulsi, bruh. Tulsi, and people who in Positive Fiorella know this. I don't understand how she was running a presidential campaign, because she was writing bills every fucking day. I'm like, how are you? I don't believe that at any point in history, has there ever been a legislator who was running for president that wrote as many bills simultaneously that Tulsi wrote. And Josh Fox didn't praise that. In fact, he engaged in xenophobic and fucking sexist tropes to try and fucking destroy her. Why? Because Tulsi's shadow self is out here exposing everybody else's shadow self. And oh shit,
Josh Fox's shadow self is a douche canoe. That's
Josh Fox's real self is a douche canoe.
Shout out to Glory Jones for that word.
Yeah, thank you, Glory Jones, for the douche canoe word.
But let me get the fuck up out of here, man. Hey, it's been fun. I appreciate you guys and everything y'all do. Definitely got to get everybody back on the show again soon. Posse and Fiorella, so glad to see y'all back and healthy again, even though Fee about to cough up a lung. Send Johnny some love for me. Josh, appreciate you, man.
Have a good one, man. It's always
Somebody
good
just
talking.
said that Josh Fox's shadow is Vosh. Have a nice night there.
Damn.
That was brutal.
Wow.
That was
Damn.
Red Sea Socialist.
Red Sea Socialist. She took part in the moderator chat on Sunday and is a lovely human being and is freaking hilarious, dude. I was telling a story about Towns Van Zandt and I got done. She's like, dead ass was like, that's white people, right? They're white.
It's great.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like,
the whole chat's funny. Like, they're all
Fort
hilarious.
Worth, Texas, cracker white. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where are you going to do your homework? Stop it.
So we went through a bunch of shit tonight, guys. That was fun.
Yeah. I don't remember any of it.
You guys were quiet for like half of it, Fee and Pasta. What are your guys' like
Well, they're sick.
thoughts?
On
Like just
what?
in
Oh,
That's a broad ass question. What are your thoughts?
yeah, like that
Right.
is a very broad question.
Can you define
So
the string bean?
How was
damn it.
don't bring it back to that.
To
Man.
bring it back to that, I have that slide pulled up actually from the Clyde Stafford Smith witness statement.
No,
Oh, the tiny penis?
No,
Nice.
Can I
no.
read that?
no.
Oh,
Let's
was
not
dying to
end
see
on tiny penises.
No,
That's never going to be fun for anyone.
No, it was good to start
Darn.
with. Good open, bad close, Andrew. Bad form, dude. Come
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, read the room, pal.
Word,
You changed
homie.
it on me because we're so well written and prepared for everything we do.
Right. We're scripted. We're very scripted.
We
And
actually,
yeah,
did
for
have
sure.
like an entire thing that we put.
we did have
had
like an
news
entire,
segment
just
to
so you
do
guys
and
know, yes, we had
stuff
articles
like that.
and everything.
Which we should probably like find a day to record and release.
We can save
Yeah.
for Saturday.
That's fine.
Or that.
We're still talking about dicks. Question mark?
No.
Yes, Oswhistle. We're still talking about string beans.
No.
No,
Sorry,
just
Oz.
pasta.
Yeah,
Just pasta.
Yeah. Pasta's gonna be thinking about that.
I didn't even get to bring up the Jeff Bezos story. Where
Oh, God.
No,
Damn it.
don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
You know what?
Stop
I gotta tell you, the
talking.
highlight of the
Not
night,
do
though,
that.
You
was
beat that dead
seeing-
horse already.
was seeing Poikinen's face sitting down in DC, just looking. That was like, you know, that is definitely a meme, Steve, and I'd like to get a hold of it.
Yeah, me
You know?
too. I got plans for that.
There's a
bitch.
picture. I'll send it to you of me sitting next to Alex Jones.
Oh!
Just like
With that look on your face, dude. Yeah,
It
that
was
look
the
on your.
greatest.
Yeah, send me that one, Andrew, if you still have it, because that one's great.
Yeah, the Steve one's definitely like a caption this picture. You know,
Yeah.
everybody caption this, put it out there. Oh, our Discord would come up with some stuff, I'm sure.
Oh,
most
most
I
definitely.
I want everybody to appreciate just how sharp I looked that evening. That's
You did look very handsome.
You look sharp. I was like, who is that? That guy's dressed up. Like he's not
I clean up good.
Yeah.
I got to
do.
stand
smoking
there
a cigarette. He's
until
not like, you know.
And that was all just shit we grabbed from a thrift store like that day.
an hour before. The very end of that, I got to go up like as they were shutting down, but everyone was still recording, and give a literal lecture to every alt-right leader in the U.S. short of Alex Jones, because he was doing Alex's stuff away from everyone else. But literally told them, like, if you do not stand up for Julian, like if you do not make this your stand, you are next. Like when Julian is gone, we are all gone. And so I just would like to remind everyone that that is essentially the situation that we're in as we're closing today's vigil. It is a literal decade. It is 3,650 days of arbitrary detention that Julian has suffered for reporting factual information. So I just, they said in court, anyone that has shared this, anyone that has read it, that is not.
And just think about what you have done in the past decade. Like think of all of the things you have gotten to do in the past decade. Have you had kids? Have you gotten married? Have you went on a vacation? Have you bought a house or a new car or whatever? What are the things that you have gotten to do? Julian hasn't gotten to do any of those things, and all because he told the truth and exposed Empire.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's really inexcusable.
And it's like those times too, like, you know, this election, we talk about it all the time. This election goes by unchallenged, unchecked,
yeah,
and just swept under the rug. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's over.
That's it.
As far
It's
as
done.
that, you know, it's so you got Julian, you got us, you know, you have the elections, and it's just like forget about it. It's like, well, you know, I'm a little depressed nowadays. I mean, obviously, you know, we've had the corona and everything, not feeling so great, but I'm a little depressed kind of thinking about like, why isn't anybody doing anything? Why aren't people screaming and yelling? And why is Julian still behind bars? And why are the elections just like, you know, people are selected, they're not elected, and you know, everything in front of us is just
because people don't want to
facade.
believe that this is what it is. They don't want to see the reality. It's too
Well,
much
and-
for them.
Yeah.
It's too much. Like if they understand that there's no democracy in this country, that's it. Like
I mean,
what,
that is
what-
really
what else do
facing
you have
the
to look
fact
forward to?
that everything that you ever thought is a lie. That's really a
Everything.
difficult thing to take on. And I try to have some, you know, patience with those people, but I just don't have any more left.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. And so I've been trying to not engage as much with people that frustrate me. I'm not very successful, but I try. It's just right now I'm just really struggling with people who still think that, you know, you can vote your way out of this and that progressives are going to save us. And you just have to get a couple
Hey,
more.
let's see 2024.
You know, look, Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman, they're going to be there. And then, you know, in 2 years, we'll get a couple more. And you guys, we don't
Just
have
need
that
more
kind
of them.
So
Yeah.
on the note of badasses, I want to give a shout out to a gentleman whose call I missed on Saturday after the vigil, Richard Ojeda. This reminds me of something that I talked about and warned everyone about during our DC planning meeting. Verizon Wireless, as well as T-Mobile, who just recently purchased Sprint, have rolled out new spam blockers on their phone calls. And what this is doing is it's blocking out of state calls if the person doesn't have you saved as a contact. So, for example, I got a phone call from a gentleman who I work with, who has a phone number from North Carolina. His phone number was automatically blocked, like no notification, anything. I was in contact with a certain individual from West Virginia that had called me. I tried calling them back. the next day I get an ad block that says, like, due to the Verizon spam block, your number is being filtered out and not allowed to contact this area code. And I called from a different phone number, not associated with anything except the same geolocation, and got the same message. So Verizon has rolled out essentially interstate communications blocks for phone calls and text messages without really telling anyone. T-Mobile is touting it as like this wonderful ad block technology that they have. So I would recommend more reliance on alternative communication platforms than ever, because they're literally taking cross-state communication from us as we speak.
Everything's fine, guys.
Get you some Element, people.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does phone calls too?
Element.
Does phone calls? Does
so to that individual, if they're watching, I'll try to find
crazy group messages with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages that I always miss and never scroll back through.
Sorry.
Look,
guys, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, we got to get going.
Yeah, we got to wrap. Why don't you guys tell everybody? I know everybody knows who you are, but just give everybody your Twitter stuff and just
what you got going on. And
yeah,
what,
tell us what's coming up.
What you've been,
now that you're rebounding back from the Rona.
A call from somebody who had a lawsuit here in California. There's a bunch of Republicans that got together. His name is James Bradley, and he's working with the EIP, which is the Election Integrity Project, and they're more of like the conservative side. Election integrity activists who know what's going on, but it's great because even though they're conservative, they even kind of stress that it's a nonpartisan issue. Well, they were going to bring up a case in California, and it's very interesting because a lot of the progressives that we know, the leftists that we know that ran as a Democrat, they've kind of gotten behind Raji Robb right now in that whole situation where they're protesting the fact that in LA they've processed the ballots days before the election night. Now they say they don't access account, but once you process a ballot, there's an access available on the back end. So they're going to be taking up their case that way on the left. But what the EIP has been doing is they've been going after the unconstitutional shotgunning of the ballots, saying that the Secretary of State and Gavin Newsom and all the officials didn't act accordingly to the laws to do so, and they broke the Constitution by doing so. So he was just calling me to see what was going on. So I'm going to get an update on that, and we're going to be continuing to talk about the elections. I actually do have an opinion about Texas and that lawsuit. Louisiana has now also joined that case as well, and they are pretty much doing the same thing. That is why the Pennsylvania case was dropped today, but it wasn't dropped because it's no good. It's because the Texas case is the same case, but it incorporates many more states. So we're going to continue to talk about the elections and what's going on. And once again, I still have more. I mean, I know you guys know. I mean, this has been frustrating. I've been trying my hardest, and Steve's been trying to help me out to get Michael Tracy to get me on a show or to come on our show so we can debate this a little bit more. But he is not.
He's a scared motherfucker, and he needs to grow a spine and get some balls because he's a scared little shit that loves to talk shit on Twitter and loves to promote the police and all of that. But he can't even have Poss on the show. And by the way, Ryan Knight has not contacted me about the election integrity thing, so I'm going to be pushing him on that.
One recommendation I can make going into doing all your research is remember that 80% of it's propaganda from all sides. And I know you know that, but it's so with Julian Assange's case, for example, it's so hard to keep pieces straight because there's so much other shit they try to throw in to convolute it. So
you should also remember that 62.3% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Yes.
And we all know that people who've also been avoiding and being, and that's the thing Fiorella has also said too. That's really, it's like these people shouldn't be minimizing what they're doing. They shouldn't be mocking it. You got people like Aaron Matei and that dude who's trying to be the first male guest on The View, Kyle Kalinske, another one. Very disappointed on these guys on the left, and
it's not surprising on Kyle Kalinske's part
at all.
But,
So I mean, it is. We're going to continue to talk about this and keep following it until it happens. I mean, I know you guys. I don't have to convince you guys. You guys know what's going on and stuff like that. But it's very sad that the left, if you want to call it that, really has not done anything. Hasn't spoke about this. The only person I see really doing a great job has been Ben Swan, who's been amazing with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And his little pieces are on point, whatnot. And, he's been talking about election integrity for a while, but I am still just so fearful that if this does go through and Biden, who just hijacked
It's gonna
the
go
middle
through.
of the night. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
never gonna have
It's gonna go.
So, because we live in a fucking cartoon, I hope that little Tom Hartman's Padawan gets to be on The View before Anna Kasparian.
Oh.
Emma's gonna beat them both and jump right
Because it's a cartoon.
Emma's not going to beat them both. Emma has the personality of like a chalkboard. Like,
Have you
No,
seen her
because
on
chalkboards are only
Sim Cedar?
shrill when you touch
Simp
them.
Cedar? No, Sam Cedar. Simp Cedar is a cool one.
Sim Cedar's the
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
one. Sam
Sim
Cedar
Cedar's cool.
is a simp. And like just seeing that show, it's so bad. It's so
Yeah.
awful.
People watch that shit. That's what like makes me lose faith in humanity, that people
Yes.
watch that shit. Like,
Yes.
why would you watch that? How can you? There's people that watch us and watch that shit, and I'm like, what? In what world does your brain like deviate to where you're watching the convo couch and then all of a sudden you're watching like the complete opposite of the convo
Shame,
couch?
Cedar.
Like, it's just I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys.
But seriously though, Michael Tracy, we know you watched the show, and you should really debate. Possibly, we can tell you watch because of all
I'm
the
totally
coverage
gonna tweet
you
him.
do
I'm
on
doing it right
Julian
now.
Assange.
We're gonna be on fault lines again tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. Because not for nothing, Jamal, though, and I like Jamal a lot, but it's his rhetoric too as well. It's just like Michael. Aside from the mathematical anomalies, what evidence do you have? It just makes me want to reach through the screen, through the camera, and punch him in the nose. How can you say aside from the anomalies? It's just
Right. Aside
Right?
from everything that's clearly
Aside from the cheating, where's the cheating, Pasta? Come on.
And what is
Okay.
your evidence? It's not, you totally can just go into the
What?
machines and look at everything, right?
And look, I'm not gonna try and speak like I'm gonna look, this is my observation, and that's it. But it seemed like listening to the thing that he wanted your reason to be emotionally attached to Donald Trump, and that's what like all of his counter arguments were ultimately built on, was this boilerplate template. Oh, you're questioning the election, therefore you must be a Trump supporter.
You're a Nazi collaborator.
That's
There
a
are
typical
people.
argument, though, for the progressive, like left. Like election integrity, it's a right wing talking point. The word deep state, it's a right
Free
wing talking point.
speech. It's a right wing
I
talking.
get it
point.
all the time, sister. I get it all the time.
So
I deal with this shit
Well,
constantly.
Kick it
I
back
know you
to
do.
2016 too, and the WikiLeaks disclosures that came out then about the infrastructure of cheating that is inherent within the DNC.
Oh,
like,
wait.
has everyone
Y'all,
forgot
we
about
have mountains
real
of
quick,
evidence.
real
Mountains.
quick.
Iowa, and everyone forgot that happened.
Hang on, I got some people I need to thank.
We gotta get
We really need to wrap.
Costello West, Michelle Jenkins, Gavin McFuckass Newsom. Thank you very much for donating to the GoFundMe. We absolutely appreciate it.
Larry Jones.
There are my
Hey, yo,
my
Gavin
co-host
McFuckass.
is hilarious.
She totally
by the
should have
way.
donated a string bean.
You know, if we could just not.
All right, I'm gonna go have nightmares about this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
By the way,
I'm
guys,
glad you guys
don't
are
forget about
feeling better,
Rockfin
though.
now.
That's
We
good.
have a tipping feature on Rockfin, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, being that we're civil liberties people here, that we have to make sure, because they're going to just cut our our string bean on YouTube.
Oh,
So if we
God.
lose our string bean, we can regrow it, Eric Cover style,
Damn.
on Rockfin.
Like a lizard's tail.
Oh my
I
God!
think we stand on that like a lizard's tail. I love you guys.
I'm glad
Thank
y'all
you guys for
feeling
listening.
better.
We love you. Thank you.
Listen,
You guys are
we do
awesome.
appreciate everything you guys do.
Yeah.
We celebrate.
We appreciate
every time
you.
go on. You guys are awesome. We
You
need that.
kids take care now.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
guys.
You have fun tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh,
You do.
we will.
You do.
We
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah.
love, Convo Couch.
From
Bye, guys.
Russia with love. Goodbye.
From Russia with love.
I'm gonna mute them because I'm gonna take us out too.
What?
I said I'm gonna. Okay, they dropped out. I muted them because I was gonna say
okay.
bye to everybody.
Okay.
Can we close? We good?
Yeah, we need to close. I'm hungry.
Cool. I would like to thank everybody for joining us. You can find us on Twitter at action_4Assange. You can follow me at Andrew Zigman. If you go on our website, action4Assange.com, you can find a whole bunch of different calls to action, including supporting the Tulsi Massey legislation about the Espionage Act, Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, as well as sending demands to the U.S. Pardon Office that Julian Assange get pardoned, as well as tons and tons and tons of other things, including solidarity with David McBride. But with that, as always, please help us share our GoFundMe. If you cannot donate, please try to join us. Make your travel plans to DC now if possible, January 3rd and 4th. Thank you. Thank you for Jason, Niko, Pasta, Fee, and everyone watching that makes this possible. And especially Josh for literally waking up and helping out.
Yeah, and I'm Misty Winston. You can find me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. I can't even talk because like that was a lot. Like my brain's kind of going 4,000 miles an hour right now. That was a lot.
Was a lot.
That was a lot, you guys. Like my brain's a little fucked up. I need to go smoke some weed. That's what I need to do. So anyways, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. You can find my show Facts on the Ground on YouTube with my co-host Jesse Zerwell. We're actually going to interview Danny Scherzen on Friday, I think. So I'm really excited about that. You guys should head over there and subscribe. I had a goal to get to 1,000 subscribers like back in June, I think, by January because that's my birthday, and we might actually do it. Like we're like the little YouTube show that could. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know if we actually will, because that was like a really lofty goal, but I mean, let's go for it.
Go do that.
So, yeah,
You need
go
to get on-
subscribe.
you-
It was
y'all-
like my
y'all
birthday.
need to
It's
get
my
on-
last year in my 30s, you guys. Go make me happy.
We got to get y'all on Rockfin.
Well, get me invited. Okay, it's very exclusive over there on the Rockfin. So yeah, but thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks everybody who's sharing the GoFundMe and stuff. Seriously, show up to DC. It'll be fun. I think that's it. Did I say everything I need to say? I don't even fucking know. I don't know.
Check the teleprompter real quick.
I know, right? Where's my script?
If you are in the Denver or Boulder area, the 10th, Human Rights Day, I will be at Hungarian Park with the Denver Free Assange Group. Saturday in Boulder at noon at the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center. Come down for that. I know it's going to be cold. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna try not to whine is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try not to fucking bitch about it too much.
Kendra, if you're listening, punch him in the chest if he gets out of line.
Bring him a blankie. He's gonna be cold.
I'll be with my grown up.
She needs to get you one of those like leash backpacks.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god.
That's never going to happen.
No, when you're late, when you're hanging out with Reverend Andy, she can just be like,
like I promise you that's not gonna happen.
Oh my god.
My name's Steve Boykin and I host a show called Slow News Day, which you should watch on the Rockfin. If you haven't got your free Rockfin account, you should do that. That's where I'm going to be after YouTube arbitrarily removes my channel. So where's that echo coming from?
I don't know. We're rapping.
I don't hear it.
You're fine.
Okay.
We're rapping. Who cares?
All right. This Sunday, Reverend Annie's Chambers will be back on the show. Ian Schlackman. We're going to do a deep dive into the assassination and plot of Malcolm X. That's going to be just killer. Absolutely killer. It's probably the wrong word.
Probably the wrong word. Yeah.
There.
It's grammatically correct.
Yeah, it is. It is. I wasn't
works.
expecting to go that dark in the close. I really wasn't. It was just non-intentional there. At any rate, thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to the people that have donated to the GoFundMe. If you can, please do. If you can't, please share the link. It really, really does help us. We're about what, like almost like 2/3.
or over half.
Yeah, getting close to
I think we're
2/3.
1,500 out of the 3,000.
Right. Yeah.
We can cover lodging.
I'm not trying to math right now. I'm really not. All right. Back up off me, son. Do that. Thank you to Sleepy Josh on the ones and twos. Thanks to Niko House, Jason Bermas, Pasta, and Fee from the Convo Couch. It was wild. And we'll see you Saturday. Good luck to us all.